and there's just that massive loss of abundance as well, isn't there? I mean, there's amazing stories when you read the historical accounts of how many fish there were, particularly in the sea. There's an amazing account about when Europeans were first going to the Caribbean. There's huge fields of seagrass around some of the islands, and they could navigate in the darkness for like the last 20 miles by listening to the sound of the turtles that were feeding, kind of clucking together, because there were so many turtles there. Like, there were just, millions of turtles kind of feeding there, and they're all gone.
And it just makes me think about the stories of the past and the lessons of the past and how we can learn from them and to make decisions today for a better tomorrow. There's a constellation we call Byrne, which is the shark, that when its nose hits the tip of our horizon, we know when the fruit will, when a tree will fruit, and then we know that we can catch fish from an ocean. And I think that's our traditional knowledge in science, but translating that to Western science, our sky and our ocean are a coupled system. We work so in sync, and so there are real lessons that we can really implement into the way that we moved for this, because and learn from it and how, what we can do. But we're now at a point where the seasonal cues of what we could see naturally aren't in season anymore, and our adaptation measures that we could work because of pollution and the changes. It's really hard to use traditional knowledge and weave that back into our practices, and that's something that is coming from what you said, that we've got extractivism from our land and our oceans that is polluting our sky, and it's just not balanced.
And everything from whales, as you write about so beautifully, their songs, but they're being impacted by sound in the ocean, to krill, which I did not know about krill, but krill, which you can see from space, the swarms, they're so big, are being hugely impacted by overfishing and climate change.
Yeah, in fact, what we were just talking about was, so the krill have a really specific and quite complex life cycle, and they are the absolute foundation of the Antarctic. Many of you will know this, but they're the foundation of the Antarctic ecosystem. Everything eats the krill, basically, and their life cycle is kind of tuned to the movement of the sea ice and to the flowering of the phytoplankton that you get down there as the sea ice kind of retreats, and that's all coming out of whack at the moment. The sea ice regime has gone through a phase shift in the last couple of years. It's no longer behaving how it used to. No one quite knows what's going to happen to it, but there'll be a lot less of it. But you also have them now being fished really hard, and that the fishing is kind of managed. There's an organisation which is supposed to be in charge of it, but they've lots of these organisations, they can't actually get their act together to do a number of the things they need to do. But as always with fishing, they're saying, well, here are these rules saying this is how much you can catch. And of course, these ships go down there and they catch much more than that. Oh, whoops, we've doubled our catch over what it was supposed to be, but we'll stop now. They're catching, there's bycatch, so they're killing whales and things at the same time. But, it's the thing about this incredibly important animal, which has these multiple pressures coming to bear on it at once, and there's a lot of krill. They're not going to disappear tomorrow. They're reasonably adaptable and intelligent animals in lots of ways, but they are under a big pressure. And you talk to the scientists and they say, look, if it changes, it could change very, very fast. And if it changes, if salps replace the krill, that's everything. But emperor penguins are done by the sound of it. It sounds like emperor penguins are just gone with the change in the sea ice. There won't be any more emperor penguins by the end of the century.